There are moments in Pluribus that feel unsettling. And then there are moments that feel wrong in a way we can't explain. And episode 5 doesn't just cross that line. It shatters it. Because tonight, we saw something the others were never supposed to reveal. A craving they can't control. A truth they tried to bury beneath their forced smiles. And a reaction from Carol so visceral, she literally froze mid-breath. And that final gasp, the moment her eyes widened at the carton in her hands, that wasn't shock. That was recognition. A memory she didn't want to remember because it changes everything about the joining. But before we get there, let me ask you this. If an entire planet shares one mind, what happens when one person refuses to feel what the rest of them feel? And more terrifying, what if Carol's resistance isn't a strength, but the very thing keeping the others alive? Tonight, we're breaking down the true meaning behind episode 5, the hidden dietary symbolism, the hive mind fractures, the emotional unraveling of Carol, and the chilling implication behind that final cliffhanger. Welcome to the Pluribus episode 5 deep dive, where every smile hides a threat and every carton of milk contains the truth. The silence no one explained. The episode doesn't ease us into its mystery. It picks us up by the throat. The hallway is too quiet. The fluorescent lights hum like they're struggling to stay alive. And the first thing we hear, before faces, before footsteps, is the beeping of a heart monitor. A reminder. Someone almost died because Carol refused to play along with the hive mind's perfect harmony. And then we see it. Not Zosa, not the doctors. A man sitting casually in a hospital gown, drinking milk like he's waiting for a movie to start. Not crying, not panicking, just drinking. And right away, the symbolism is loud. The others aren't just consuming milk, they're depending on it. Like newborns, like creatures in transition, like beings whose biology is shifting faster than their emotions can keep up with. But here's where it gets disturbing. As the camera pulls back, every person walking by is wrong. A child pushing a medical cart like he's been doing it all his life. A woman in clubwear from a night she never finished. A man with a fractured wrist walking perfectly fine. They're all stuck, frozen in whatever moment the joining overtook them. Bodies preserved, minds merged. And not a single one of them looks at Carol. Not even once. Why? Because they've already judged her. She's the outlier, the static in their frequency, the one emotion they can't predict, can't control, can't soothe. And then we see her, Carol, sitting alone, clutching a stress ball with the same shaking hand that still bears the metal cuff she hasn't been able to remove. Her skin is scratched, her breathing shallow, her movements tiny. She looks less like a survivor and more like someone waiting for a verdict. She caused pain, real pain, and the hive felt it everywhere, from Albuquerque to the other side of the planet, and they remember. Hive mind symbolism, why they left her behind. Then Lakshmi calls. Of course it's Lakshmi, the one person who could weaponize a whisper. She's furious not because of Zosa's cardiac arrest, but because her son cried. Except, here's the thing. Her son didn't cry. The entire hive cried. A synchronized emotional collapse triggered by a single heart stopping. That's the moment Carol realizes she isn't just upsetting one person at a time. She's destabilizing the entire species. And that gives episode 5's theme. Emotion is currency, and Carol is bankrupt. The others stop making eye contact. They stop smiling. They stop reassuring her. And then, they leave. Not slowly, not thoughtfully, not with an emotional goodbye. They evacuate the city like a school of fish sensing a predator. Not because they hate Carol, not because they're scared of her, but because she is the only unpredictable variable they've encountered since the joining. Her emotions don't sync with theirs. Her guilt is inconsistent, and her grief burns hotter than the hive mind can absorb. She is, in every way, a threat to their stability. So they run. The empty city and the emotional breakdown. When Carol wakes, the hospital feels hollow. Rooms echo. Lights flicker with no one to adjust them. A voicemail replaces human voices, and the silence is mechanical, not peaceful. It's a ghost town. Not because people died, but because they're all somewhere else, together, without her. For the first time since her wife died, Carol is truly alone. And this time, she can't drink it away. The milk mystery begins. Here's the critical detail. Every hallway, every room, every person, they all had milk. And Carol didn't understand why. Not yet. But she will. And the moment she does, she gasps like the air was pulled out of her lungs.